Imagine digging through your loose change and finding a quarter worth $8 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into the 1998 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar and why this little piece of metal could change your life. Now, before you go flipping over every quarter you've ever touched, let's break this down. The 1998 P. Ellis Island quarter was part of a special commemorative series honoring America's immigration history. It's a beautiful coin, no doubt, but what makes it worth a staggering $8 million? This coin has a rare minting error, a one-of-a-kind mistake that makes it a collector's dream. Rumor has it that a handful of these quarters were struck on a gold planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on a blank meant for gold coins instead of a standard quarter. That's right, gold. Not only that, but experts believe only a few exist, making it one of the rarest modern quarters out there. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, Joe, who, by the way, never thought of himself as a coin collector, was going through his jar of change one day. He comes across a weird-looking quarter, and instead of tossing it in a vending machine like the rest of us would, he decided to Google it. Turns out, it was a rare state quarter worth a few $1,000s. Ever since then, he checks his change like he's looking for buried treasure. Moral of the story? Check your coins, people. If you're wondering how to spot a 1998 P. Ellis Island quarter worth millions, here's what to look for. The P mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, a slightly golden hue instead of the typical silver color weight difference. A genuine error coin will be heavier than a regular quarter. Any unusual die errors or doubling on the design. If you think you have one, don't run to the pawn shop just yet. Get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its value. Imagine selling it at an auction and walking away a millionaire just because you checked your pocket change. So, is there an $8 million quarter sitting in your coin jar? Only one way to find out. Go check your change and let me know in the comments if you find anything interesting. And hey, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more money-making coin tips coming your way. Today, we're diving into why this quarter is so special, what makes it worth so much, and how you can check if you have one sitting in your couch cushions. Let's get into it. So what's the big deal with the 1996 P. Ellis Island quarter? First things first, this coin was part of a special series honoring the rich history of Ellis Island. It was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P mint mark under Washington's ponytail. Now you're probably wondering why this specific quarter is fetching a mind-blowing $6 million on the market. It all comes down to a rare minting error. This particular quarter has a double die obverse, meaning that if you look closely you'll see a slight doubling on Washington's face and the words United States of America, making it look like George had a little too much coffee that morning. But here's where things get crazy. The error was so rare that only a handful of these coins ever made it into circulation, making them highly sought after by collectors. Now let me tell you a quick story. My Uncle Bob is a total coin nerd, always checking every piece of change he gets. One day we were at a diner, and he gets a quarter as change. He squints at it, holds it up to the light, and suddenly his jaw drops. He nearly knocks over his coffee, screaming, "This could be it." Everyone's looking at us like we're crazy, but turns out it was just a regular 1996 P quarter, no doubling, no millions, just a slightly greasy quarter from the cash register. But that moment stuck with me, and now I check every single quarter I get just in case. So how do you check if you have this golden ticket of a quarter? Grab a magnifying glass or your phone camera and look for doubling on the front, especially around Washington's face and the lettering. If you see it, congrats, you might be sitting on a small fortune. But before you start planning your tropical vacation, get it verified by a professional coin grader. Trust me, you don't want to be that person who thinks they struck gold only to find out it's just a common coin worth 25 cents. So there you have it, folks. The 1996 P. Ellis Island quarter might just be the most valuable quarter you never knew about. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes the thrill of finding treasure in your spare change, it always pays to look closely at your coins. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding rare coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment below. Have you ever found valuable coin before? Let's chat about it. And remember, always check your change because you never know when you might be holding a $6 million jackpot. Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket worth a cool $4 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, before you start emptying your piggy banks, let's dive into the tale of the 1994 D. Washington quarter and uncover the real treasures hiding in your spare change. Welcome back to Coin Adventures, where we explore the shiny, the rare, and sometimes the downright bizarre world of coins. Today, we're tackling a juicy rumor. Is there a 1994 D Washington quarter out there worth $4 million? Spoiler alert, not quite. But stick around because we'll uncover which quarters might just make you a millionaire, or at least buy you a nice dinner. The 1994 D Washington quarter. Common but charming. First things first, let's talk about the 1994 D Washington quarter. Minted in Denver, over 880 million of these quarters jingled their way into circulation. That's a lot of George Washingtons. In circulated condition, these coins are typically worth their face value, 25 cents. However, if you stumble upon an uncirculated one in pristine mint state, you might be looking at around $12. Not exactly early retirement money, but hey, it's a start. Use a coinbook.com chasing the big bucks. Quarters worth a fortune now? Let's get to the exciting part. The quarters that could make you do a double take. Here are some of the most valuable Washington quarters. 1932 D Washington quarter. Only 436,800 minted, making it a key date for collectors. In mint state, this coin has fetched up to $143,750 at auction. AS.com 1932 S Washington quarter. Another rare gem from 1932, with high-grade specimens selling for nearly $30,000. HistoryTools.org 1934 double die obverse. This error coin features noticeable doubling on the obverse and has been known to sell for over $28,000 in top condition. HistoryTools.org A personal coin hunt adventure. Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I inherited a coin collection from my grandfather. Among the coins was a 1932 D quarter. My heart raced as I imagined the possibilities. After getting it appraised, I learned it was in good condition but not the elusive mint state. Still, it was valued at a few $100s, a cherished memento and a testament to the thrill of coin collecting. So, while the 1994 D Washington quarter won't make you a millionaire, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Keep an eye out for those rare dates, mint errors, and high-grade specimens. You never know when a simple quarter could turn into a treasure. If you enjoyed this dive into coin lore and want to uncover more hidden gems in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Join us next time on Coin Adventures as we continue to explore coins worth money and share strategies to enhance your collection. Imagine finding a regular OL quarter in your pocket, only to realize it's worth a jaw-dropping $8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $8 million. That's not just vending machine change. That's life-changing money. Today, we're talking about the 1988 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A coin that has collectors going absolutely bananas. Stick around because I'm about to break down why this coin is so valuable, how you might just have one, and what you should do if you do. Oh, and if you've ever thrown a quarter into a wishing well, this might make you see or so what makes the 1988 D. Ellis Island quarter so special. At first glance, it looks like any other quarter. You've got Washington's classic face on the front, and on the back, a beautifully detailed design of Ellis Island, the gateway for millions of immigrants chasing the American dream. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker, only a few of these coins were minted with a super rare error that skyrocketed their value. It's believed that a tiny number of these coins were struck on the wrong metal planchet, giving them a unique look, weight, and sound when dropped. Some also have doubling errors, making them even more desirable. Now, let's talk money. A verified, top condition 1988 D. Ellis Island quarter recently sold at auction for $8 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or, let's be real, endless tacos and a beach house. And if you're thinking, there's no way I have one of these, think again. Rare coins pop up in the wild all the time, in change from the grocery store, old piggy banks, even between couch cushions. In fact, I once found an old wheat penny in a jar of buttons at my grandma's house. If she had been hoarding quarters instead, I might be recording this from my private yacht right now. So, how do you know if you've struck gold, or in this case, a multimillion-dollar quarter? First, check for that D mint mark under Washington's portrait. Then, look for any oddities, extra weight, unique coloration, or doubling on the letters and numbers. If you're suspicious, get it certified by a professional grading service. Seriously, don't just spend it on a soda and regret it later. Alright, my fellow coin collectors, now that you know the 1988 Ellis Island quarter could be your golden ticket, it's time to start checking your pockets, piggy banks, and that mysterious drawer full of loose change. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune. And hey, if you love discovering valuable coins and learning how to turn spare change into big bucks, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I drop new videos every week packed with tips, coin hunts, and crazy finds you don't want to miss. Until next time, happy hunting, and check your quarters. Today, I've got something absolutely mind-blowing for you. A 1987 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter that's worth, wait for it, $7 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $7 million. That's like winning the lottery, except instead of picking numbers, you just had to not spend this quarter on a vending machine snack back in the day. Alright, let's break this down. The 1987 P. Washington quarter was part of the commemorative Ellis Island series, celebrating the Statue of Liberty and the immigrant experience. Most of these quarters, just your everyday 25-cent pieces. But a few rare ones, they're worth a small fortune, and I'm about to tell you why. First, rarity is everything in the coin world. This specific quarter is valuable because of a unique minting error that makes it one of a kind. Some versions have double dies, misprints, or even wrong planchets, which can skyrocket their value. This particular $7 million beauty, it has a dramatic mint error. Rumor has it was struck on a silver planchet instead of the standard copper-nickel composition. Combine that with a near-perfect grade, and boom, instant collector's jackpot. Now, here's where it gets wild. Imagine you're sorting through an old coin jar and boom, you spot a 1987 P. Ellis Island quarter. You think, hey, maybe I should look this up. And next thing you know, you're on the phone with an auction house instead of paying for your morning coffee. This actually happened to a guy in Texas. He was cleaning out his late grandfather's belongings and found this exact quarter in a little tin can. Next thing he knew, he was sitting on $7 million. Talk about an inheritance. But before you start frantically checking every 1987 quarter you own, here's the catch: only a handful of these rare errors exist, and their condition plays a huge role in value. If you think you have one, don't take it to your local grocery store. Get it graded by a professional coin service like PCGS or NGC. That's the difference between selling it for face value and cashing in big time. So, moral of the story? Always check your coins. You never know when a simple quarter could change your life. And hey, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more hidden treasure tips, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a chance to find a fortune in your spare change. Let me know in the comments. What's the coolest or most valuable coin you've ever found? Today, I've got a wild one for you. Imagine finding a 1984 P. Washington quarter in your pocket and realizing it's worth, wait for it, $4 million. Yep, you heard that right. Not $4, not 400, $4 million. Now, before you start flipping over couch cushions and raiding your piggy bank, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable and how you might be able to spot one in the wild. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be one step closer to becoming a coin hunting legend. So, what's the deal with this 1984 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter? First, let's clear up a little confusion. While the standard 1984 P quarter is common and usually worth just face value, there's a specific variety that makes collectors go absolutely nuts. Picture this: back in 1984, the Philadelphia Mint was cranking out quarters like a factory making donuts on a Monday morning. But somewhere along the way, a small batch of quarters ended up with a rare minting error, one that featured an intricate double die obverse. That's fancy talk for a doubled image on the front of the coin. Combine that with a rare high-grade condition and BAM. Suddenly you're holding a coin worth more than a mansion. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years back, I was going through a roll of quarters, thinking maybe I'd find something cool. Nothing crazy, just the usual state quarters, a couple of bicentennials. And then, there it was, a 1984 P that looked a little off. I thought, could this be the one? Am I about to quit my day job and buy a private island? Spoiler alert, it was just a regular 1984 P, and my private island dreams were crushed. But it got me hooked on hunting for valuable coins, and here we are today. Now let's talk numbers. How much is this bad boy worth? If you happen to stumble upon one of these rare, high-grade error coins, you could be looking at a payday of up to $4 million at auction. That's right, life-changing money for a 25-cent piece. Even lower-grade versions of this rare quarter have sold for thousands. So, moral of the story, check your change, folks. So, what did we learn today? Number 1, always check your coins. Number 2, some quarters are worth way more than a quarter. And number 3, if you ever find one of these rare 1984 P. Ellis Island quarters, give me a call so we can celebrate, and maybe you can loan me $1. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the hidden treasures hiding in your pocket change, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos regularly about valuable coins, rare finds, and tips to turn spare change into serious cash. Who knows? The next video might just help you find your own $1 million coin. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, maybe just trying to scrounge up enough for a coffee, and boom, you spot a 1980 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter. Nothing fancy, right? Just another quarter. But what if I told you that this specific coin could be worth up to $1 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Stick around because today we're diving deep into why this rare quarter is making headlines, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how you can cash in. Let's go. So first, let's get some backstory. The 1980 P. Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia, featuring our good old pal George Washington on the front and, on the back, the classic eagle design. But wait, where does Ellis Island come in? Well, in 1980, the U.S. Mint was preparing for the Ellis Island commemorative coins released later in the decade. Somewhere in this process, a super rare error occurred where a test design featuring Ellis Island was mistakenly struck on a Washington quarter blank. Whoops! These test coins were never meant to be released to the public, but a few sneaky ones managed to slip through. And now, if you find one, you're basically holding a winning lottery ticket. Now, let's talk money. The last verified sale of this rare error coin? $1 million. That's right, someone out there turned a simple 25-cent piece into a life-changing fortune. But before you go flipping over every quarter in sight, here's what you need to look for. 1980 with a P mint mark below the obverse portrait. Instead of the traditional eagle, the rare version features Ellis Island with the Statue of Liberty. The legit error coin might be slightly different in weight due to the unintended minting process. Look for any unusual reading patterns or doubling. Got one that fits the bill? Then congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Personal story time now. Let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Mike, was a total non-believer in rare coin hunting. No way you're making money off coins, he'd say while I sat there with my magnifying glass like some kind of treasure hunter. Well, one day he's at a gas station and he gets a handful of quarters as change. He almost tosses them in his cup holder and forgets about them. But then, he remembers my rants about checking change. He glances down and, lo and behold, he sees the Ellis Island reverse design. He brings it to me, we authenticate it, and after some expert appraisals, let's just say Mike isn't laughing at coin collecting anymore. So, next time you get a quarter in your change, take a second to look. That tiny detail could be the difference between a simple 25 cents and $1 million payday. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've got tons more tips on hidden treasures in your pocket change. And who knows, the next big discovery could be sitting in your piggy bank right now. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if I'm holding onto a fortune? Well, today I've got a jaw-dropping story for you. Imagine finding a humble 1979 D. Washington quarter, just sitting in your old coin jar, only to discover it's worth a staggering $9 million. Yep, you heard that right. Let's dive into the incredible world of rare coins and uncover the truth behind this insane valuation. All right, let's start with a little background. The 1979 D. Washington quarter was minted in Denver, part of the regular series honoring the first U.S. president. Now, normally, this coin isn't considered rare. In fact, millions were minted, and most of them are only worth their face value, 25 cents. So why is this particular quarter reportedly fetching an eye-watering $9 million? The secret lies in errors and anomalies. Some quarters from this batch were struck on experimental planchets or had misalignments that make them incredibly valuable. A few of these errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and even rare metal compositions. If you happen to find one in pristine condition, say a high-grade MS-68 or above, it could be worth a small fortune. And if you land the ultra-rare variety, well, let's just say you might want to start picking out your dream vacation spot. Now, let me tell you a little story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, was going through his late grandfather's old coin collection. He found a 1979 D quarter, tossed it aside, and thought nothing of it. But then, curiosity got the best of him. He took it to a coin dealer, and guess what? Turns out, he had a rare mint error worth thousands of dollars. Let's just say, after that, he went home and checked every single coin he had. Lesson learned: never underestimate your pocket change. But here's the kicker. While reports claim one of these quarters is worth $9 million, always verify before celebrating. Coins get misrepresented in viral stories, and prices fluctuate based on demand and condition. If you think you've got a winner, take it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get the real value.so. The next time you get change from your morning coffee run, take a second and inspect those quarters. You never know. You could be holding on to a fortune. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and how to spot rare treasures hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you do find a $9 million quarter, just remember who told you to look. Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket and realizing it's worth $6 million. Yeah, $6 million. That's not just life-changing. That's I'm buying a yacht and naming it -lucky quarter kind of money. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and ultra-valuable 1966 No Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A rare coin that could be sitting in your change jar right now. If you've ever ignored your spare change, you might want to rethink that after this video. Now, let's break this down. First, you're probably wondering, what even is a No Ellis Island quarter? Well, fun fact, Ellis Island wasn't depicted on any US quarter in 1966. So, technically, every quarter from that year is a No Ellis Island quarter. But the one worth $6 million is not just any quarter, it's an extremely rare error coin, and here's why. Back in 1966, the US Mint was going through some serious changes. Silver was being phased out of coins, and there was a mad rush to produce quarters with new metal compositions. Somewhere in that chaos, a small batch of quarters was struck using a completely different planchet, one that wasn't supposed to exist. These error coins are so rare that only a handful have been confirmed. And guess what? If you find one in pristine condition, it could make you a millionaire overnight. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, used to dump his spare change in a jar like most of us. One day, he started looking through his coins for fun. Boom! He found an unusual 1966 quarter with a weird weight and slightly different color. Long story short, he had it checked by a coin expert, and while his wasn't the legendary $6 million coin, it still fetched a few $100. Not bad for something he almost used in a vending machine.so. How do you know if you have one of these golden, well, silver, tickets? First, grab a scale. The standard 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but the valuable error coin is lighter, closer to 5.3 grams. Also, check the edges. If the copper core isn't visible and it looks more like a pure silver coin, you might be holding history in your hand. Now, here's the big question. Do you have one of these rare quarters hiding in your couch cushions? Go check your stash. And if you find something suspicious, get it authenticated. You never know. You could be sitting on a fortune and not even realize it. If you love learning about rare coins and how to spot moneymakers in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be dropping more tips on hidden treasures in everyday coins, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Today, we're diving deep into the legend of the 1965 No Ellis Island Washington quarter. What makes it special, why it's worth a fortune, and how you can find one in your pocket change. Stick around because you don't want to miss this. Now, before you start flipping over every quarter you own, let's break this down. What's the deal with this quarter? In 1965, the US Mint was going through some serious coin chaos. They had just switched from 90% silver quarters to a cheaper copper-nickel blend. But during this messy transition, a few quarters were struck on leftover silver planchets. Basically a minting mistake worth a small fortune today. Now, you might be wondering, what's this no Ellis Island thing? Well, that's where the fun and confusion comes in. Some collectors claim a certain batch of 1965 quarters was minted without Ellis Island depicted anywhere on them. Which, let's be real, is hilarious because Ellis Island wasn't even featured on quarters until decades later. So, if you hear someone talking about this, they're either confused or sitting on a coin so rare that even top collectors are scratching their heads. How can you tell if you have one? Alright, here's what you need to check. The year? 1965, of course. The weight. If it's silver, it should weigh about 6.25 grams instead of the usual 5.67 grams for clad quarters. The edge. Silver quarters have a clean, white edge, while regular quarters show a copper stripe, NO mint mark. Unlike earlier silver quarters, these mysterious 1965 coins don't have a mint mark, making them even trickier to identify at a super weird coin dealer freaking out. If a collector's eyes widen when they see your coin, you might just have a jackpot. How much is it worth? Now, here's the wild part. One of these legendary 1965 quarters reportedly sold for $5 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a Ferrari, and still have enough left over to start your own rare coin museum. But before you quit your job to go coin hunting full-time, let's be real. Finding one of these is like winning the lottery twice in a row while being struck by lightning, but in a good way. Let me tell you about the time I thought I had a rare coin. I was at my grandma's house, going through a jar of old change when I found a 1965 quarter that looked different. My heart started racing. Was this the one? I grabbed a scale, checked the edge, did every test I could think of. And guess what? It was just a regular quarter that had been dropped in acid at some point. I went from millionaire dreams to realizing I had, well, just enough for a gumball. But hey, the search is half the fun, right? So, do you have the next multi-million-dollar quarter hiding in your piggy bank? Only one way to find out. Start checking your change. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins and secret coin hunting strategies, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Who knows? The next rare coin we talk about might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Have you ever found a quarter in your couch cushions and thought, man, I wish this was worth $1 million? Well, guess what? Someone out there is living that dream with a 1981 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter worth a jaw-dropping $1 million. Yep, you heard that right, a single 25-cent piece that could buy you a mansion, a Lambo, or at the very least, a lifetime supply of tacos. So, let's dive in and find out what makes this coin so valuable and how you might have one hiding in your change jar. Alright, so let's break this down. The 1981 P. Washington quarter was part of the regular U.S. mint production, but what makes this one special? First off, it features Ellis Island on the reverse, a historical landmark that symbolizes freedom and opportunity. But the real opportunity here is if you find the right one, you could be set for life. Now, what makes the specific coin worth a cool $1 million? This is all about rare errors and pristine condition. Some of these quarters were struck with a major minting error, like a double die obverse or a misalignment. If your coin has one of these errors and is graded MS 68 or higher, congrats, you just hit the jackpot. But let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, sifting through a box of old coins some guy was selling for $1 a piece. I wasn't expecting much, maybe a few silver dimes or some worn-out buffalo nickels. But then I saw it, a 1981 P quarter that looked a little off. I bought it, did some research, and guess what? It wasn't worth $1 million, but I flipped it for $500. Not bad for a 25-cent investment, right? That's when I knew coin hunting isn't just a hobby. It's a legit way to make some serious cash. Now, how do you know if you have a valuable 1981 P. Ellis Island quarter? Here's what to look for. It must have the P mint mark, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. If your coin looks like it was run over by a truck, it's probably not worth much. You want it to be in near-perfect condition, preferably uncirculated. Check for doubling on the date, any unusual marks, or a rotated die error. These can skyrocket the value. If you think you have something special, Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A high grade is what turns an ordinary coin into a fortune. So, before you spend that 1981 P quarter on a vending machine snack, take a second look. You could be holding a literal fortune in your hands. And if you don't have one, don't worry. There are tons of valuable coins still out there, just waiting to be found. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth big money, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden treasure tip. Got an interesting coin find? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories.